Morning, Steve Frady in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, happy Friday. I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful weekend. As far as overnight prices, they're lower. I think that three things. Number one is that there could be a shower in the next 24 hours across parts of Iowa. The 6 to 10 day outlook is though warm and dry for much of the Midwest. Our weather guy could see some very hot temperatures next week across the Midwest, but also a chance of some scattered showers. I think his belief is that this in and out motion of the ridge favors the fact that once we get into July and August, there will be more ridging and more warmer and drier conditions. We also noted that overnight, the Chinese ag minister came out and lowered his estimate of this year's corn that's going to be fed. It's still above last year, but he just thinks that there's more feed grain imports, higher wheat and rice reserves to lower the amount of corn that's in feeding. He also lowered the soybean consumption and imports a couple of million tons to 100 from 102, still up from last year's 98. So I think those two things is offering some resistance to the marketplace. We also noted that there was some report out of Mexico that they will ban imports of GMO product. That's kind of contrary to what people had thought. So that might be offering some weakness in the corn market. I think altogether, though, I think that when we look down the road, I think if we have this drier and warmer summer, prices will eventually move higher. And if that weather is true, end users should add coverage for the rest of 21 and maybe half of 2022. USDA yesterday, they did lower the corn carry out both years and raised exports for this year. I think they're still about 200 million bushels low in this year's total corn demand and next year's total corn demand. So most people have for both years a carry out of around 1 billion bushels. That's too tight for the market not to rally. They did raise soybean carry out 15 million bushels due to a lower crush because of lower meal demand, but I still think the crush will meet their previous estimate. Plus, they're 45 million bushels too low in exports. And so we could actually see a final carryout for both years below 100 million bushels. They did lower the Brazil crop to 98 million tons. Most people are at 90. So they're still 8 million tons too high. And instead of lowering the Russian wheat crop, they raised it 1 million tons. And a lot of people are at 80 million tons versus their 86 million tons. So a combination of weather, a combination of tight oat crop stocks, and even maybe tighter US 21-22 supplies, and maybe the unknown of the Chinese, but I still think they're going to take bigger numbers than what they did this year from the US for both corn and beans. All those factors, I think, should move prices eventually higher. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day. Remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.